Hello, and thank you for listening to this Ringside Report Network podcast today. You can find more in-depth, exclusive written content on our website at ringsidereport.net. Before I hand it off to Dave and the team, I want to remind you that we are a listener-supported creator team. On our website, we would appreciate it if you supported our sponsors or purchased our exclusive merch. Branded clothing, mugs, and even jiu-jitsu gear, which are available only in our store. You can become a recurring supporter of our content at membership.ringsidereport.net. This, along with all our podcasts, is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon, iHeart, and TuneIn, wherever you get your podcasts. It would help us immensely if you left a positive review on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Thank you for your support and enjoy the show.
Please welcome David Simon. Good to see you again, David. Thanks for coming back.
It is Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we preview Blanchfield versus Barber at UFC Vegas this weekend. UFC 316 going down next week, and the people petitioning for Jon Jones to be stripped.
Let's go!
The people. Some people. People like AJ. People like this guy. What's up, this guy?
What's up, that guy?
Hey.
What's going on there? What's going on here?
What's going on everywhere?
I can tell you a few places that are happening everywhere and nowhere and up and down and north, south, west, and east all at the same time. That's BJ Penn, bud.
About. Ooh, okay.
BJ Penn, exactly.
Let's
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
With that, shall we?
Come on, Dave.
Come on. Let's
right
do something more fun, man. AJ. No, we'll talk about BJ Penn a little bit.
Fun.
No, it's not fun. The conversation we're going to have about BJ Penn is not going to be fun, so let's save that for later. Let's start with some more fun. Let's start with some fun. Let's enjoy ourselves.
Such as?
I don't know.
Enjoy ourselves? Okay, I can do that, bud.
How's everything going?
I'm doing good, bud.
There you go.
Going good, man. Going good. Yeah. Hanging in a Thursday night in Montreal.
Yeah. No Fred tonight. Fred's at his daughter's soccer game, so he couldn't make it.
Yeah. South Shore soccer, dude.
Very big. Very important.
Much better than Montreal soccer right now.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Freddie. Yeah, I do, unfortunately. Yeah, Freddie's taking it easy tonight with his kids, and Here we are, man.
But we are here, and we have a lot to get to.
We do?
Yeah. There's a UFC going on this weekend. We got a pay-per-view next weekend. We've got Marab Dvalishvili defending his championship against Sean O'Malley next weekend. Sean O'Malley's been training with all sorts of people for this fight, brought in Demetrius Johnson to help him against Merab. This is a very big fight for Sean O'Malley. This is a very big fight for the UFC. This is a very big fight for the sport. Sean O'Malley wins. You may usher in a new golden era for the UFC where people are excited and you're buying pay-per-views and you have a champion that's a bankable star that's selling tickets, that's selling pay-per-views, that's moving numbers for the UFC. You stay with Marab Dvalishvili as champion, and, things remain the way they are. And Merab is cool, and Merab is a good fighter. But Merab is not moving the needle like Sean O'Malley has, and I think the UFC hopes will continue in the future. I mean, the UFC didn't make Sean O'Malley win a fight after losing the championship to Merab, even though O'Malley had only defended the championship once. He beat Aljo on a fight that was scheduling-wise more advantageous for O'Malley than it was for Sterling. Then he fights Chito Vera, which, Chito was not the number one contender. O'Malley, has a pretty easy defense against him because he had the one loss to Chito. This was his kind of pick for the UFC. UFC was like, who do you want to fight? And he's like, I want to fight Marlon Vera. And they're like, well, he's ranked 7th, but you lost to him, so okay, let you have that one. That was a gimme for O'Malley, and he got it. And then he had to fight Merab because they couldn't tiptoe around the issue forever, and he loses to Merab. Then they give him a year off while Merab has to fight Umar, who's very tough. Merab handles Umar, which I think You know, the betting odds had Merab, I think, as the underdog going into it. So people expected Umar. Yep. Umar does not win. Merab survives. And now Merab, after fighting Sean O'Malley back in September of 2024, and O'Malley has not fought since, by the way. Not quite a year, but it's, a good chunk of time. Umar fight was in January. And now Merab, January to June. It's like Umar January 18th. He gets like 6 months-ish, 5-ish months to prepare. It's not like a short training camp or anything for Merab, but it's a quicker turnaround for him. He just had a tough fight with Umar Nurmagomedov, first guy to beat him. Now he's fighting Sean O'Malley next weekend. Just scheduling-wise, the way it was booked, the way it all came together, it feels like the UFC is trying to set something up here for Sean O'Malley to become their champion. Kind of like the way they did it with Aljo, which, I don't know. And even with, the timing of the fight being in O'Malley's favor, I'm not sure that O'Malley gets it done. Like, I don't think he's going to do it. I think Merab beats him. Merab beat him pretty badly last time.
Yeah, but there was a lot of factors,
handled him pretty easily. You think it goes a different way?
Look, man, it was supposed to go O'Malley's way the first time they fought. But the thing is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lot of issues for O'Malley to go into that fight. He had some serious injuries, and you could have told that it wasn't O'Malley in the ring. He was injured going in there, all kinds of factors. I forgot there was a whole bunch of things other than his injuries. He was at his worst. Maybe. And he still went in there and he still threw a war. But what I'm saying is that O'Malley, who was the favorite going in there against Merab, I personally would have probably pulled away from that fight, considering the injuries that he had. I would have pulled away.
Which were?
People would have hated him.
Which were?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his foot and ankle and something like that. If you just want to double check. It was a while back, but yeah, it was a labrum. He had a labrum injury, man. That's okay. I mean, and he still fought. That's incredible.
Labrum is,
but I would
where? It's your shoulder, isn't it?
It's the hip.
Oh, hip.
Near the hip, man.
I have no idea.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's the only it's like the worst thing that can happen to you to go into a fight when you've got like issues with like the hip.
What's a labrum?
You might as well. Hey, you like the labrum, eh? Dave, you like that labrum?
Work that labrum, baby.
Merab loved the labrum, but O'Malley didn't, and that was the problem. So going into that fight, this guy should not have been fighting. Point final. He went in there, lost. If I would have known that he had that type of injury, I would have been like, this guy is crazy.
Wow.
Just like Conor went in.
He had hip surgery after the fight.
Yeah, man, it was that bad, dude. He shouldn't have been in the octagon. And he had something else too. There was something on top of that as well. I want to say something with his family or something happened as well. So the guy was not at his best. Mind you, here comes Marab and he beats Umar. That's not a joke. Undefeated going in. That's a big stamp there to say, holy shit, man. Marab is really that guy. But again, O'Malley's reach, O'Malley's striking power, O'Malley should have won that first match, in my opinion. But again, coming back after that Umar win, it makes you question, can O'Malley be able to do it? If he's 100% healthy, I think it's going to be a very, very different fight. That's my opinion, but,
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one, dude.
That's a good point, man. I mean, you're making a good point about the labrum. It's something that I didn't consider. Like, I know that I knew he had some sort of injury. There was talk after the fight about, like, injury, but after the fight, I kind of go, whatever, what's next? O'Malley's hurt. He's hurt after the fight. A lot of guys are hurt after the fight. I kind of ignored that was going on. But thinking on it now, like, if you had to have hip surgery, you had a torn labrum, which is in the hip, by the way, as we learned tonight on the show. And then you have to have surgery on your hip after the fight. Like, that's a significant injury that's for sure going to impact your ability to defend a takedown. Like, how do you sprawl with a with a torn, if your hip is so bad that you need to have surgery, how are you sprawling and defending any takedowns ever? Because sprawling is all in the hips. Defending the takedown is all in the hips. Heavy hips. And if you're injured there, that's going to affect, people that don't fight may not understand, like hips are so important in grappling, hip pressure. Hips are so important when you're throwing strikes, the rotation, it's everything. And if you have an injured hip, I'm not really sure how he fought. How did he fight? He's, these UFC fighters at the championship level, they're made of different stuff, right? It's really
crazy.
It's a superhuman athlete. They're unbelievable. And Sean O'Malley, don't let the gimmick fool you. He's a killer. He's really good.
Oh, yeah.
But he was manhandled by Merab. And I guess if he needed hip surgery, it's not really a surprise, but he still took the fight. You know what I mean? He still took the fight.
And he lost by decision. Think about it. He lost by a decision.
Yeah, but it was pretty one-sided. I remember Marab was beating him pretty good.
But still, he was there and he went the distance, 5 rounds, man. That's the difference when you look back and you say, holy shit. Think about yourself when you can't get up from a chair when you have a bad back or something is off with your leg. Forget about kicking. Forget about wrestling. Forget about just even sitting on a toilet at times. Here's this guy going 5 rounds with Marab, and he didn't get knocked out. Comprende?
Yeah, I just the toilet comment just kind of threw me. But I think I think that there's a good point as far as the injury. But at the same time, AJ, we know this from watching fights and covering fights for years and years that nobody ever goes into a fight 100%. So,
yeah, but there's certain levels, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's certain levels of you not.
He still took the fight. I don't know.
You know what? When you're that ticket, man,
it sounds to me like you're picking O'Malley for the rematch, AJ.
Look, again, if O'Malley is going in there at 100%, I think O'Malley should have won that first fight. There's a little bit where you got to give credit to Merab to take apart Umar, which was he was not the favorite going in that fight as well. Umar was supposed to win it according to everybody, and he didn't. But O'Malley is a different fighter, man. His striking game, man, everything that if he plays that Muay Thai game against Marab and able to defend the takedowns and whatnot, I think he's gonna take it. It's not gonna be easy, but again, a guy went 5 rounds with basically no hips. How do you do that? So that's impressive. But again, that's not a good sign, right? The guy went into surgery. I forgot how many months he was off, coming back from surgery and everything. It took him at least 4 to 5 months of rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of wear and tear on O'Malley at a very young age. So I'm saying at the moment, he's still young. He could probably perform at a level that most people can't. But will he be able to ride the tide for, the long term? There's certain injuries where they destroy you. And I was just getting back to what I was trying to say earlier with Conor McGregor. When Conor went in the fight was it with Dustin? Yeah, I think it was with Dustin. No, it was with Khabib. He went in there with a hairline fracture on his shin. I mean,
that was a Dustin fight.
Yeah, but
it totally fractured.
Yeah,
when he threw the kick,
shattered his leg.
Yeah,
just split in half. And that's the thing is that just a hairline fracture on a shin is probably a lot of discomfort for people that are everyday walks of life or jogging or walking. It's going to be uncomfortable even up to a year. But when you're throwing heavy kicks and you're checking certain kicks in Muay Thai, a hairline fracture, man, if you get it good, your leg will shatter, man. It's like fucking glass that shatters. And, again, it's just a hairline fracture, but it was enough. If you look back, that Conor should have just walked away from that because his training camp, just like O'Malley, sucked. He shouldn't have fought. It would have been a different Conor if he didn't take that fight, and it would have been a different fight for O'Malley if he didn't take the Merab fight.
Mm-hmm.
But O'Malley's injury is much greater than Conor's when you look at it. But Conor's was much more devastating when it happened. Just
different injuries, different fighters.
Well,
And, one is active and one is Conor McGregor. But Sean O'Malley is definitely going to make that walk. I have full confidence that he's going to show up to the fight, knowing that he showed up with a torn labrum. I think he's going to show up next week. And he will fight Marab Dvalishvili, and we'll do a watch-along for that, and it'll be a lot of fun. We got a big night scheduled for you on June the 7th here on the Ringside Report Network. Right? We're doing a watch-along June 7th? That's the plan, right? UFC 316.
Bud.
And is that Money in the Bank, too? Is it the same night as Money in the Bank? Oh, my God. Is it? What a night we're going to have. Good God. It's the same night as Money in the Bank, brother. Oof. It's going to be fun, AJ.
It's always
Money
fun,
in the
man.
Bank is one of the best wrestling shows of the year.
I do. I kind of enjoy watching it as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, what a night we have next weekend. Marab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley. Like, it's a legit UFC championship main event that I'm actually excited for. There's a lot riding on this fight. It's a good rivalry,
That's what she said.
She said it's a good rivalry? Why'd you say that?
Was riding on it.
There's a lot riding on the fight.
Keep going.
She said there's a lot riding on the fight. That's what she said?
No.
Why did she say that? You just heard riding, and you were like, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
you
where
don't
I left
really
it at. But
understand
you
how
killed the
to
joke,
apply
man.
it, I think.
Nah.
What'd you say?
Keep going, bud. Keep rolling, man.
That's what she said. Yeah, see? That's
Bravo,
how you do it.
Dave. Bravo.
That's how you do it.
Bravo. I love it.
Yeah, I'm good at it.
That's what she said.
There you go. Well done. Hey. So next week we got a good UFC card. We got Julianna Peña in the co-main event against Kayla Harrison. That's one of the biggest women's fights in a very long time. That's a big deal fight. Julianna Peña has made herself into a star. She's the only person in the past, 5, 6, 7, 8 years to beat Amanda Nunes. I mean, Julianna Peña, okay, she lost to her the second time, but she still beat Amanda Nunes, tapped her, and she's the only person to do that.
Well, Dave.
Did she not tap her? She tapped her in December of 2021.
Let's not forget
Amanda
the first
beat her up,
round and the injury and COVID.
Yeah, whatever. Excuses are excuses, okay?
No, it's
the fact of the matter remains,
round.
AJ, that she's the only person to beat Amanda Nunes in 10 years. So that was pretty good. Julianna Peña is a big deal. She made herself into a star, whether you like her or not, AJ. And I know you want to take her win away because I was predicting it for months, and you want to take that away from me. That's really what it's about, and I get it.
But let's be honest.
I gloated big time after
example.
that one because I was calling the biggest upset ever for months and months, and then it happened, and I was like, I fucking told you. That was the best night of all time.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
You were right on that. But the fact is that just like O'Malley and Conor, Amanda was in a very bad situation health-wise.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
She came back and she beat her, and she showed who the better fighter was.
She destroyed her. She didn't just beat her. She destroyed her when she came back.
I agree. Nevertheless, Julianna Peña has found herself back as the champion after beating Raquel Pennington in her last fight. And now she's fighting Kayla Harrison, who came over from the PFL to become a star in the UFC. And this is her third fight in the UFC, and she's getting a title shot. This is a big deal. This is what Kayla Harrison is in the UFC for. She's here to get a title shot. She's here to become champion. She's here to potentially fight Amanda Nunes, I think, if she becomes champion. So this is a massive fight where Nunes, the greatest of all time, may come back to fight Kayla and may come back to fight Julianna in a trilogy if she beats Kayla. Because then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Julianna is something else, isn't she? And Amanda can come back and show everybody who's who and what is what.
Who's the boss?
Yeah, Tony Danza. So I think there's a lot of fun options here
Old
with
school,
this
man.
fight.
Woo.
It's a big fight. I'm not sure who's going to win. I'm siding with Kayla Harrison. I think the odds makers are too. Right now, by the way, O'Malley plus 250, Merab minus 310, Julianna plus 455, Kayla minus 625. A heavy favorite. Heavy.
Kind of makes sense, man.
Yeah. And then we got some other fun fights. Kelvin Gastelum, Joe Pyfer, Patchy Mix. I think this will be this is his UFC debut. He was a Bellator champion. He's coming into the UFC 20-1. Patchy Mix, 31 years old. He was the Bellator bantamweight champion. Has not lost a fight in 5 years.
Well, I think he did lose. Well, yeah, he lost one. Yeah, that's
not
it.
in 5 years. He lost in 2020, and since then has gone on a 7-fight win streak, including a win in the Bellator bantamweight Grand Prix that he won to become the Bellator champion.
Yeah, he's dangerous, man, this guy. And he has everything going for him, including a pretty cool name.
Patchy Mix taking on Mario Batista in his UFC debut next weekend. And then you got Vicente Luque and Kevin Holland.
He was supposed to be fighting Marlon Vera, Batista. So, Patchy Mix is, basically thrown in the mix.
Very fun. Thrown in the mix. It's a patchwork job. Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Holland, a really nice welterweight fight as well to round out a pretty solid 5-fight pay-per-view for the UFC at UFC 316 next weekend. The only thing that they're missing for 316 is, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So hopefully he makes an appearance.
I hope he does, man.
Can't have UFC 316 without Austin 316.
And then you got Johnny Walker that's there on the prelims, man. He's heading it against Azmat. Well, Azamat, this guy is 14-0. He's one of the contenders coming up in the light heavyweight. So let's see what he could do with good old Johnny, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Superworm. In the prelims,
Johnny Walker's out of the fight.
Is he? What are you talking about?
Brenson Ribeiro has replaced him to fight Azamat Mirzakhanov. Johnny Walker pulled out of the fight.
Wow. Put your money on Azamat, my friend. What happened with Johnny, man? Did he do the Superworm again and hurt himself?
I'm not seeing a bad injury, apparently.
Again, I can imagine. Either dancing or break dancing.
I don't know. He pulled out of UFC 311 with a bad injury. There's no news right now. I'm not seeing any news.
Because he's still
about
on the card
why
for
Johnny
316.
Walker UFC 316, but yeah, I don't know. Johnny Walker pulled out of the fight. Not sure why.
Man, so much potential, Johnny, and he's going to be history soon. I think, you know what? This is 2 fights now. I think Dana White is going to probably, release this guy.
Well, I don't know. There's no official story. It's kind of unknown reasons why Johnny Walker pulled out or was removed from the fight, but Ribeiro is replacing him, and he will be Azamat Mirzakhanov's opponent next weekend. This weekend we got some UFC in Las Vegas, another fight at the Apex. We've got a pretty good main event with Aaron Blanchfield against Macy Barber, 2 of the top flyweights in the UFC. You might see title implications for this fight. The winner of this could take on Valentina easily. It's not bad. Saturday night.
No.
At the Apex. The rest of the card is, whatever. It's an Apex fight night card.
It's all right.
Mateusz Gamrot against Ludovic Klein is not a bad co-main event. Gamrot is always solid. He's one of the better lightweights in the UFC.
He is, man. He is, but he's going up against Klein, and Klein has won 6 of his last 7 UFC fights. Even though Gamrot is the favorite in the fight, you know what? Look at Klein. I think he's underrated, but he's a beast, man.
Gamrot's hard to beat. He's got a very
solid grappling, man. Great striking
style.
accuracy.
Really
He
good.
does. That's the thing. But I'm just saying, line is there. He's solid. He might pull the upset.
Interesting. Well, we'll do. You want to do a thing? You want to do a parlay and like get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
We could do that. UFC Vegas, UFC at the Apex. Erin Blanchfield taking on Macy Barber. Erin Blanchfield, 26 years old, an absolute phenom in the sport. Her lone loss in the UFC comes to Manon Fiorot. She bounced back from that loss with a dominant decision victory over Rose Namajunas, former champion in the division. Blanchfield, just 26, with a 13-2 record. I can't help but think that at some point she's going to be champion in the UFC. She's so good. She's got so much potential. She's faced some top-level competition. I think she's right there. I think she's very close. Macy Barber, 27 years old, on a hell of a run herself. She's got a 14-2 record, 6 straight wins now in the UFC, including a win over Caitlin Sermonara, who used to be Caitlin Chukagian before the marriage. She's very tough. She beat Amanda Ribas. Montana De La Rosa, Miranda Maverick. Macy Barber's picked up some nice wins here on this current streak that she's on. This is a good fight between two young, up-and-coming flyweights in the UFC division. And, this is a big one for both of them because, like I said, could be title implications. And either way, you win, your career goes one way. You lose, your career, doesn't go the way you want it to go. So, you want to win every fight, but this is a real interesting one between two prospects that could be title challengers really, really soon. I'm going with Erin Blanchfield, though. I've been very impressed with Blanchfield. I think her grappling is better than Macy's, and I think she's going to out-wrestle her. I think Erin probably wins by decision. I think this will be a tough fight. Macy Barber knows what Erin Blanchfield is going to want to do. She's going to be ready for it. Macy's got she's got good cardio. She's got a lot of energy in there. Good striking. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Erin Blanchfield. This is a very good fight. Really solid main event put together by the UFC this weekend. I like this Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield fight. I'm definitely going to watch it. Like I said, Blanchfield is the favorite, though, AJ.
And if you look at both of those fighters, none of them have ever lost by a finish. They go the distance. So if you wanted to put a little extra money, put it on a decision win. You're right. These two, like Blanchfield, if you look at who she's defeated, she's beat Molly McCann, Meatball. She's beat Jessica Andrade. She's beat Talia Santos. She beat Rose. So the girl has some serious skills. Her grappling is solid. And so is Macy Barber. And when you look at her, this girl has great takedown accuracy. She's at 43%. Her takedown defense is at 53%. So what is it going to come down to with these two? Are they going to, get down on the octagon and grapple, or is it going to be a straight fight? I agree with you. I think, it's a tough one to call because they're two solid individuals. It's just that this Blanchfield, man, it keeps coming above the radar and always she's getting to the top, to the throne. And I agree with you. I think Blanchfield is going to win it, but she'll win it by decision. I don't think anybody's getting knocked out, and I don't think anyone's going to be submitted. I think it's going to be like a dogfight. But, history shows that none of these two, actually, what was it? I think it was Barber, 7 out of her last 8 have gone the distance. So put a little extra, put it on a decision win for Blanchfield.
Okay. I don't hate that.
Neither do I, bud.
I don't hate it at all. Okay. We've also got another interesting women's fight here. Women's bantamweight fight. Ketlin Vieira.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on Macy Chiasson.
Chasson.
That's a good fight right there. I think I'm going with Macy, though, on that one.
So you're going with all females on this? All right.
Yeah, I think
all
I'm
right,
going to go
Dave.
with a little
Generally-
ladies parlay, and I'm going to round it out with maybe another man's fight. I'm going to go with Macy minus 125. I like Blanchfield minus 250, and I'm going to go with Jordan Levitt over Kurt Hollabaugh at
Jordan
minus
Levitt.
240.
That's on the prelim, eh?
Yes,
Let me take a
indeed.
look at
Yes,
that one.
indeed. And that's going to
Let me
be the
take a look at
Dave
that.
parlay. I like Jordan Levitt. I think he's a better grappler than Hollabaugh.
Yeah, man.
Hollabaugh's a little
Jordan
bit older.
Levitt. Yeah, he's something, that Jordan Levitt. When he came in,
Yeah.
he was like so creative. He's like, yeah,
and the losses
Gumby
he's taken are to tough,
grappling,
like
you know?
Patty Pimblett and somebody else that's good.
Yeah,
Dan Hooker,
but he's
I think,
always
maybe?
exciting.
Something.
I think it was Hooker. And the thing is that with Levitt, he always makes the fights entertaining. So, win or lose, you'll get a interesting fight. But 11-3 against 22-9 for Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Feels like a
I
Levitt
think
win.
you're on the money on that one.
Thank you.
And you're always pretty good on the women picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think
This is a
you're
good parlay.
almost hitting 100.
I'm pretty confident with this parlay. It's a 3-fight parlay. 20 gets you 71.40 over at bet99.com using that promo code ringside. You got Jordan Levitt. You've got Macy Chiasson at minus 125 over Ketlin Vieira. And then you've got Aaron Blanchfield minus 250 over Macy Barber. That's a Team Dave parlay. And, I like it. I went right for it, AJ. Notice there was no hesitation in that parlay. I didn't kind of dilly-dally around. I wasn't thinking about it too much. I was like, yeah. These are my picks. This is what I like. Here we go.
Straight
kinda
to the
jumped,
point, man.
It jumped
Speed
out
dating.
at me, AJ, which is a good sign. The gods are talking to me, AJ, and they're telling me Blanchfield, Chiasson, Levitt is the parlay this weekend, brother.
Le Chasson, le Levitt,
Chiasson.
et la Blanchfield.
Gotta get that Blanchfield. What do
You
you
like
got?
that Blanchfield, eh? Listen, man, I'm on the page with you on Blanchfield, but
Doesn't
I
have
would
to
put
be
a little bit
Blanchfield. It could be in any color field.
It could be, but this one is a Blanche. But I'm gonna go with Blanchfield with the decision. So I'm gonna put a little extra on that. I'm going with win for Blanchfield and the manner of win. So put a little extra. And then I'm gonna be going with the underdog. I think Klein is going to, manhandle the Gamrot. The Rot is a tough fighter and all, but this Klein, man, he's something.
Did you just call him
Solid.
the Rot?
The Rot. The Gamrot.
Mateusz Gamrot is now just the Rot. That's good.
But you know what? He's a beast. So let's you never know.
Going
but
with Ludo Klein.
I'm going. Yes, just like
Okay.
Calvin.
Okay. That's it?
If it's so good, it's got to be. No. Wait. And I got one more. I'm going to go with Billy Ray Goff. Good old Billy,
Ray
man.
Cyrus.
Fighting Ramiz. Listen, Ramiz is very inconsistent. Billy, man, he's like 9-3 in the UFC. Great striking, man. He's won 7 times by KO, TKO. And that's what I'm trying to say is Ramiz is very inconsistent. If this fight is going down, I think Billy Ray is going to knock him out, or there will be a stoppage. So that's it, man. I'm just going with 3 today. That's it.
I like it. We're both doing 3-fight parlays. AJ's got Klein, Goff, and Blanchfield by decision. 20 gets you 114.08 over at bet99.com. It's a plus 470
And you know what,
parlay.
Dave? Is it too late to add a little extra on that?
Never too late. What do you got?
That's what I like to hear. I would put Billy Ray for the knockout.
Oh, we're switching Billy
KO,
Ray
TKO.
from a win to a
No,
knockout.
he's going to win. No,
Yeah, I know.
I want
but
the win.
Billy
Yeah.
by KO, TKO, or DQ.
Yes, sir.
Plus 140.
Yep.
So now your parlay goes from 20 to win 215.
Wow. That's nice.
So yeah, Ludo
And I can see
Klein
this
plus
happening.
130, Blanchfield by decision, Goff by knockout. 20 gets you 215 over at bet99.com. I love it. Nice parlay. Good stuff, pal.
Yeah, it's it's a good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Macy there too. Oh, look who's there! I forgot. Our good old friend Dusko is on that card too. Todorovic
Dushko.
against Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, John Jones, there's a petition going around.
Yeah.
Some people are signing to strip John Jones of the heavyweight championship. Cool. You wanted to talk about it. I think it's dumb. Who cares?
Listen, man, there's over 100,000 signatures, and if you want,
who cares?
What?
Well, yeah,
there's
they should strip him.
100,000
He's
signatures.
Retired.
Listen, man, that shows you how much interest is in John Jones. I mean, the guy has like 100,000 signatures at change.org. So if you want to put your 100,000 plus one, Angelo, you hear me? Do it. I mean, John Jones is laughing it off, but man, there's like a lot of like Jones. I don't want to say haters, but like disgruntled people. And in fact, you know what?
Haters.
Listen,
haters. Haters and people that are totally uneducated. Let me tell you a story, AJ, of something that happened to me today. A guy comes up to me who I barely know, who is like, "Oh, John Jones, you still don't think he's ducking Aspinall?" I'm like, "What? Why would he duck Aspinall? You think he's scared of Tom Aspinall?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's scared because Aspinall is the heavyweight GOAT." And I'm like, Tom Aspinall is your heavyweight GOAT. Who has he beat? Curtis Blades? In my world, you gotta prove it to me. And in my world, John Jones has proven it to me for over a decade that he is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. And the only people that are signing petitions to get him stripped of the championship or who think he's ducking Tom Aspinall are people that don't know shit about MMA. They don't know a goddamn thing. They haven't followed the sport long enough. They don't know who John Jones beat. They don't know who Lyoto Machida is. They don't know who Vitor Belfort is. And they have absolutely no respect or desire to learn. And they need to shut their fucking mouths because they don't know the first thing about the sport. And they need to stay in their lane and stop this dumb shit because they're seeing it online like, oh, Tom Aspinall's funny on Twitter. He's trolling John Jones, so he must be a better fighter because he's a better troll, which is dumb as hell. John Jones is so much better than Tom Aspinall could ever aspire to be. Call me when Tom Aspinall is a reigning defending champion for over 10 years. Call me when Tom Aspinall can main event pay-per-views that people will actually buy. Call me when Tom Aspinall is worth a damn, and then maybe I'll call John Jones and tell him to fight him. Until then, shut the fuck up.
Don't hold back, Dave. You're holding back. I feel it. Like, say what you really want to, like, say. Don't be shy, bud.
I did. I said
it's your show. Say what you want.
It's done. I did it. I know.
You okay?
It feels good to have the platform where I have the microphone and I can say,
it's like a Dr. Phil, like, hate rant.
Well, it's just dumb. I'm just so annoyed with these people who think they know something. You think, just the concept of John Jones being scared to fight a man is so insane. It's insane. Do you know who he's fighting? Do you know who he is? It's ridiculous. Imagine John... Oh, yeah, John Jones wasn't scared to fight Daniel Cormier, but he's trembling, won't fight Tom Aspinall. John Jones was willing to fight Daniel Cormier at a press conference.
Which he did, kind of.
Daniel Cormier is a much better fighter than Tom Aspinall. Much better.
But you know what's interesting,
not the
Dave?
Heavyweight GOAT. Somebody actually had the balls to say, who's the heavyweight GOAT? And I was like,
well, he's up there, Dave. Let's be honest. What?
Who's he beat? Who has he beat? Sergey Pavlovich and Curtis Blades?
I mean, they're no chump chains, those two. But
yeah,
I see what you're getting at.
Though. They kind of are a little bit, though.
What's up, Angelo? Listen,
did they
Dave,
go to the Olympics? Were they ever world champion? Because I could name you several world champions that John Jones defeated. Let me just rattle off some UFC world champions that John Jones beat. Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua, Vitor Belfort, Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, Daniel Cormier. I could go on. Now tell
Cyril
me the
Gane.
UFC champions Tom Aspinall has beat. I'll wait.
Still waiting.
No, I'm still waiting. I don't think he's beaten anybody.
Listen, man. Look,
Who has
Tom
he beat?
Aspinall is no doubt. Listen,
To
Tom
be the
Aspinall
man,
is no doubt.
you gotta beat the man. And unfortunately, Tom Aspinall will never become a man. He'll never become a real boy because John Jones will never give him the grace to step into the octagon with him because he's not worth it. He hasn't earned it. He's trying to get
England's gonna
something
come down
that
on
you
you,
only
Dave.
get. Like Alex Pereira earned John Jones' attention because he beat a bunch of dudes and he was very dominant and he was a world champion and people were like, damn, this guy's cool. Alex Pereira did the thing. Tom Aspinall should shut up and fight. If Tom Aspinall actually cleared out the heavyweight division, maybe John Jones would consider fighting him. But the UFC is playing this game where they're like, oh, we're going to give you the Jones fight, Tom Aspinall. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get this fight. But what really should be happening is the UFC should say, okay, John, so you don't want to fight Aspinall? Okay, we're not going to be able to entice you into it? Okay. We're going to strip you of the championship. You could sit on the shelf, and if you want to come back, great. If you don't, thanks for the memories. That, they should strip him because I don't think he wants to fight Aspinall. So strip him, make Aspinall right away. Instead of interim champion, he's just the champion, and have him fight Cyril Gane. And if he can beat Cyril Gane, have him fight somebody else. And if he can beat that guy and it's worth something, have him fight somebody else. And then maybe at the end of a year or two, when you've beaten 2 or 3 guys and defended your championship, you'll make enough noise and John Jones will decide, like, okay, it's time. Come get it. And then he'll get you and he'll beat you, and then that'll be that.
You know what's interesting, Dave?
That's really what should be happening. But we
I
got
agree
all
with
this
you. I
bullshit
agree.
going on where the fans are like, well, some of the fans, the younger fans that don't know shit, are like, whoa, John Jones is scared. And, Dana's playing these games. Dana said John Jones will fight this summer. Dana said John Jones will fight Tom Aspinall. He didn't say those two things in the same sentence. Those were two different sentences. One was John Jones will fight this summer. Didn't say who. And then at another point, he's like, oh, John Jones' next fight's going to be Tom Aspinall. So if you take the two things that Dana has said, you figure, oh, Dana's saying John Jones and Tom Aspinall is going to happen this summer. It's not happening this summer. All the fights are booked for the summer. All the fights are basically booked till October, November. So he's not fighting Tom Aspinall this summer. I don't think he's fighting Tom Aspinall this year. Maybe November at Madison Square Garden. But
Which would
that's
be
like a
real
big
cool.
maybe. That's a big maybe. So we just need to move on, These petition shit, these people that think they know. It's just like, come on, man.
Well,
It's
you know what?
It's a business.
There's a lot of
it's
hype.
a business.
There's
It's a bottom line issue. And I hate saying this over and over again, but would you fight a guy who co-main evented a pay-per-view in his last fight and didn't even co-main event like a Conor pay-per-view? He co-main evented Bilal and Leon, which was like a real nothing fight.
Yeah.
Whack. Come on, man. Like, the guy is not a draw. Tom Aspinall is not a draw. The only thing that's making him relevant is John Jones, And that's the thing. Like, if he beats John Jones, I don't know if his next fight would even be that big of a deal, because who would he really fight?
True, you got a good point.
Like, that's
there.
another thing. Aspinall's like obviously desperate to fight Jones because Jones is the only money fight in his division. There's nobody he could really fight that'll make any kind of money.
Unless Pereira decides to go up to heavyweight, but other than that, I mean,
Dude, Pereira's
right.
fighting
There's not too
Ankalaev
many.
for the light heavyweight belt. Like, he's not going up.
no, he's
Pereira
not. I'm
needs
not
to-
saying like this year, but
This is what the future of Pereira holds. Fights Ankalaev, loses to Ankalaev, retires.
you think so?
Yeah.
Mm,
He's like 38, 39. Like,
yeah, he's up there.
Come on, man.
He's 38.
He's been fighting kickboxing before UFC and everything. double champ. He's done it all. You lose to Ankalaev again, it's maybe like, all right, maybe he'll keep fighting.
but that
I don't
was
know,
questionable,
but
dude.
I could see him retiring after losing to Ankalaev again, and I believe he will lose to Ankalaev again.
I don't believe he lost, and there's a lot of people that agree with me. Like that fight was like questionable.
Yeah,
we've been through it. But what I'm saying is that it'll be an interesting fight to see again and see what really happens. I mean, everybody has a bad night, Unfortunately, I think that wasn't his greatest night. No. But I'm going to get back to one thing that you said about the Jon Jones thing, which I found very interesting, including on our show. Like, if I see a lot of comments that come in, or people are sending them to me or whatnot, being it on our full shows, being it on our shorts, being it on Instagram, Twitter, what's the other one? TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
I could not believe the amount of comments that came on our show last week on the fact that there was a lot of I'm telling you, Dave, a lot of upset people that were not very, how can I say, they weren't very happy with you saying that Jon Jones was the GOAT, and including myself or Fred, because they were calling us, there was somebody that called us some name, and I checked it up, and it apparently means that we were overhyping the fact of Jon Jones. But there was more negative feedback on us because of that whole thing, which I was shocked. I mean, there was a lot of comments, a lot of replies within comments, and everybody was going against Jon Jones as being the GOAT.
Yeah.
So
well,
even
because
though this
people
guy
have
came
short
up
memories,
to you,
man. People have short
Yeah,
memories. But if you
surprised.
look at the accomplishments over the years, like, how do you... If you ask most fighters, they'll tell you Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. Most guys will say that. Like, it's not like a crazy opinion to say Jon Jones is the greatest ever. Dana White thinks it. A lot of fighters think it. I just heard Leon Edwards interviewed on a podcast. He was asked, who's the greatest of all time? He said, Jon Jones. Like, it's the answer. It's not like I'm crazy for saying Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. Most people say that. It's like if you would ask like 100 MMA fans and 100 MMA fighters, who's the greatest fighter of all time? I think that the majority of them would say Jon Jones.
Man, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's hard. We should do some kind of like survey. I'm telling you. Hey, there it is, man. I was waiting for this.
Angelo.
Happy birthday, Angelo.
There he is. What a member.
There he is, right in the middle of the Jon Jones argument. Happy birthday.
That's okay.
Opa.
Let's cut the argument
Angelo,
out. Let's end the
opa.
argument. We're good. Jon Jones, is he the greatest of all time? Is he not? It's like
Angelo's the GOAT.
He's the best. But it's like Jon Jones, there shouldn't be an argument as far as I'm concerned, so I don't even want to have it. Because I think, like, if you say he's not, tell me who is.
Well, you know what's interesting, Dave?
Tell me who is.
You know what's interesting is not to jump off topic, but kind of similar.
See, you can't.
When me and Fred,
hold on, AJ.
It's hard.
But you can't tell me who is because no one else went undefeated for that long, defending the title that many times.
You're right, and I'm going to pull off of MMA, and I'm going to go right into boxing. When me and Fred, when Mike Tyson was going to fight Jake Paul, it was so hard for like both of us, including so many fans behind us, not thinking that Mike Tyson could lose to a Jake Paul. And I'm saying that's how you look at Jon Jones is the way we looked at Mike Tyson in the days. But right now, knowing Jon Jones's career and whatnot, the guy is like he would be considered the GOAT. A lot of people might disagree with us, and they have. We've got more backlash than anything I've ever seen in any of the shows on the whole Jones thing. Yeah. But on the Mike Tyson thing, I mean, look, I was so shocked that he would lose to Jake Paul.
Yeah, I was not at all because, I just saw it differently. But Jon Jones, like, I wouldn't be shocked if he lost to Tom Aspinall. I would not be shocked. Tom Aspinall.
That's what I'm saying. He's a beast, Tom Aspinall.
Jones was always like the younger guy. Aspinall now would be the younger guy. Jones is aging. He's in his like mid to late 30s or whatever. Like, yeah, he's getting older and nothing lasts forever. Like Anderson Silva was superhuman. He seemed unbeatable, and then he wasn't, and then he really wasn't unbeatable, and he was like pretty easily beaten. And you go, oh, okay, everything has an end. And I learned that, over a decade ago. So I'm pretty good with like understanding how fighting and the career span works. That's why Jon Jones is so amazing and such an anomaly, because the span of his career has been so much longer than any other champion in the history of the sport. That's why John Jones is the best. It's the longevity. It's incredible. To be that
And
good,
really,
that young, and then maintain it throughout your 20s and 30s is really nuts. No one,
especially in the heavyweight division. Like when you look at the heavyweight division, like of the years back, I mean, look at the guys that were there, man. You know, go all the way back, all the way to Brock Lesnar, man. Like, you know, but then again, at the light heavyweight, Jones was reigning champ, man. Forever. He came into the heavyweight and he was able to manhandle some of the guys that have been there for a long time.
Now that's the fight we never got that there was talked about. That that's the John Jones fight. Like for me, Jones and Brock was the fight that I wanted to see, and there was talk at one point of doing that when Jones was like killing it at light heavyweight and Brock was kind of in and out at heavyweight. It was maybe around the time of the Mark Hunt fight when he came back. Like, there was talk of Brock Lesnar versus John Jones in a super fight in the UFC heavyweight division. And, like, I'm still more down for that fight than him fighting Tom Aspinall. As crazy as that may sound, I think it would be more fun. Brock and John Jones, that would be sick.
Well, at that point there of John Jones's, like,
there was a time
career,
when it was, like,
he could have
seriously discussed.
Done something interesting.
That but that would have made sense.
But it's hard to say, and like John Jones now, like, you know, he's still there, but he's not really the, you know, one step away from like retirement, and that's what's probably going to happen. End.
That's why I think
absolutely
he should. That's why I said he should like not fight Aspinall and retire, because losing is a real possibility, and like why risk the concussion now, and why risk the legacy and proving all your haters right, you know? Why give them the satisfaction? Like, it's kind of like, nah, fuck those guys. Just walk away, man. It's not worth it. Who cares? You're the best ever. Some people will say you're scared, but, like, those people don't know shit, so who cares? Walk away, man.
You're right. But that's why I'm saying, like, when you look at Aspinall, when I see Aspinall, like, the way he fights, like, at his age, he's so young and whatnot. The guy is so well-rounded, man, for such a young fighter in the heavyweight division. He's amazing, and he will be the champion. It's gonna happen. You can see it.
He kind of is. But the thing is, AJ,
he will be a real champion.
Oh yeah,
like,
sure.
He is amazing.
Will he? Will he?
Look, if John Jones wasn't in the picture, and you're right, John Jones is the name that Aspinall needs to make money from. But if John Jones wasn't there, everybody would be on the Aspinall hype. But it would go back to, well, who's there really to be that much of a danger in the heavyweight division right now, which is pretty weak. You know, when Jones was fighting like in light heavyweight, man, a lot of guys could have went to heavyweight in a couple of weeks. Like, like between lightweight and heavyweight, they were very similar, man.
And this is why, like, the sport and the fans really piss me off, because so many of the fans are just idiots that don't know anything. Like, except the people that watch us, because they obviously get it. But, like, people will go, oh, Aspinall this, Aspinall that. Aspinall should fight Jones. When, like, 4 years ago, it was the same people going, Ngannou. Jones is scared of Ngannou. And it's like, hey, by the way, guys, Francis Ngannou never lost a UFC heavyweight championship. If Francis Ngannou walked into the octagon today, do you think he'd beat Tom Aspinall? I think he'd have a really good chance. So let's stop pretending like Tom Aspinall is this big threat and this big deal when fucking Ngannou was, and now everybody forgot about Ngannou because he walked over to the PFL, but Ngannou's still around. True. I'm not convinced Ngannou couldn't beat Tom Aspinall. I'm not convinced Cyril Gane couldn't beat Tom Aspinall. Like, these are fights that would also be fun, and Cyril Gane, I think, is a fight that needs to happen. Like, don't you think before Tom Aspinall gets to the big final boss of John Jones, he should have to fight a guy like Cyril Gane, who is a tough challenge? Like, clean out the heavyweight division a little bit. Do some work. Then maybe you get the big prize at the end of the rainbow. But until then, like, chill. I just, like, have we forgotten how this whole sport works? You don't just get what you want right away because, like, some fans are annoyed that John Jones wins all the time. That's not how it works. What about Ngannou? You know? Like, Ngannou is still the UFC heavyweight champion. He never lost it. So, why are we talking about Aspinall? It's because people have short memories. They forget. AJ, you even forgot. I had to remind you. And you're like, oh, yeah, Ngannou. Whatever happened to that guy?
You're right, man. And you know what? Which is such a shocker when you think about it, because Ngannou was like the boogeyman of like the heavyweight division. The guy was,
Still is, by the way.
He still is, but he's not relevant anymore. Like, you don't see him, but he's not in the UFC. And that's the problem with a lot of these fighters. And I get upset every time they step away from the UFC and they regret it. There's only one guy, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, that walked away from the UFC and made a really, really good decision, a very lucrative decision, a two-time champion. But
Ngannou's made some money.
Yeah, but not like Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Really?
No, more. What are you talking about? Ngannou's got so much out of the PFL. Bro.
Well, he made it more in the boxing than he did in the PFL. But what I'm trying to say is that even
his
Olivier, who's a two-time champion,
man. Come on.
It was, but it's like most people, you become irrelevant, man. And that's the thing with the UFC. If Ngannou was in the UFC right now, he would be like, everybody would know who he is. Everybody would be saying, shit, man.
He'd be fighting John Jones.
I want to see Ngannou fight John Jones. And that's the thing.
They'd be doing
Ngannou is not, he's just like he's behind the door, man. And we know that as fight fans. But in reality, it's a shame. Ngannou leaving the UFC was the worst decision he's ever made. Yes, he went to boxing. I thought he went great, but it was a small, short-lived hype. You know what I'm saying?
It was still pretty cool. That Tyson Fury fight was iconic.
Pretty cool. It was pretty cool, dude. But it would have been much cooler if he was a UFC champion. You know what I'm saying? You could still carry that weight right now. That's the difference. That's the power of the UFC. No matter how you spin it, they're the Super Bowl all the time. And
he made more money. He made more money outside of the UFC. He made the right call, I think, for himself.
Look, Francis Ngannou, like when I look at on some of the stats on GMS and whatnot, like Francis Ngannou is still ranked number 1 as the greatest heavyweight fighters in history. He's up there. He's number 1. Then you got Stipe, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos at 4th. 5th is Brock Lesnar. 6th is Fabricio Verdum, which was a beast. You got. Listen, I'm just saying this is.
Who's making this ranking? Because they're forgetting somebody.
Who? John Jones. He's ranked 7th according to them.
What?
You got Frank Mir at number 8.
This is UFC?
Tom Aspinall. Yeah, UFC.
Okay.
Ranked 9th is Tom Aspinall, and the
UFC
10th is Randy Couture, one of my favorites.
We're not talking about greatest heavyweights of all time. We're talking about greatest UFC heavyweights?
Just UFC.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We know one guy who's not there.
Because I was
we're probably going to talk about.
Where's Fedor? What are we doing? Fedor's obviously the greatest. Prime Fedor kills Prime John Jones easily, bro. That's the only
100%.
guy. Honestly,
what?
Like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think Prime Fedor, peak Fedor, Pride Fedor.
Dude, that's not normal.
I don't think anybody ever in the history of MMA beats him. Nobody.
No. And I agree with you. And that's a shame.
Fedor is the GOAT. Fedor is probably the greatest fighter of all time. Because, at heavyweight, Pride era Fedor,
I agree with you on that.
You're not even touching him. You're not coming close. And I think still today, that guy walks into the octagon, everybody's fucked. Probably at light heavyweight, you're gonna middleweight, but still fucked.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's the only guy that's never been on the throne of the UFC, but still considered the greatest fighter probably in the history of MMA. And Joe Rogan actually said that not too long ago. He says the greatest fighter of all time is Fedor. And most people don't.
Emelianenko, the last fucking emperor.
Incredible. The greatest fighter. Tactician,
the man.
Power, strength, and fear, man. He was like the Mike Tyson times 2 in MMA. And that's the thing. Even Mike Tyson acknowledged Fedor. That shows you how cool Mike Tyson is. But I'm going to tell you something.
One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life was being at a Fedor fight. That's
crazy.
Like just
that's
being
crazy, man.
Seeing Fedor walk to a cage and being like, "Oh my god, Fedor's about to fight in front of me." Dude, it was a crazy.
Do you remember his walking into the ring or the octagon, just like his stare down. The man had no emotion, man. Just like a stone killer.
And it was still
crazy.
This was I want to take you back for a moment. Fedor,
it's sad,
because he had just lost to Verdum, I think. So, Yes. So Fedor was like, he had the aura of unstoppable, right? He was impossible to beat. And then he runs into Fabricio Verdum, and so Fabricio puts him in a triangle, and Fedor taps. And everybody's like, what? Fedor just lost? Right? But Fedor kind of put himself in the triangle, got out of it, and then put himself back in and was like, oh, I can get out of it, but Verdum had a hell of a triangle, and he caught him, and he caught him. And these things happen, right? But you figured, oh, that was a fluke. Fedor's still Fedor. And then he goes into this next fight against Bigfoot Silva, and I go, oh, well, it's a Strikeforce Grand Prix. This is Fedor's comeback fight. He's going to fucking destroy this guy. And so, like, going into it, it was like, oh, Fedor's still Fedor. You know, like, there was no, like, oh, he's not that guy anymore. He's not it's like, no, he's still Fedor. Fabricio just caught him. He got a lucky triangle, and, you know, it happens. But then Fedor got his ass kicked by Antonio Silva. TKO stoppage after the second round. Fedor couldn't continue, and the crowd was just, like, in shock. First of all, it was like 75% Russian guys in the arena, and they couldn't believe it. It was, like, quiet, dead quiet at the end of that night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, but that was a doctor stoppage, too, you know, and sometimes these doctors, Fedor, man, they call the fights.
Dude, Fedor, it was like the night where you're like, oh, it's over. You know, like, it was the night where it's like, oh, the Fedor thing, that thing that makes him unbeatable, it's not there
Just
anymore.
like Mike Tyson, dude. That's how Mike Tyson was perceived, you know? And I agree with you, man. Like, those 3 losses were like the end of the throne, but still, it was just like a rut for him.
Silva, and then Dan Henderson, who knocked him out right after
Henderson
that.
fight.
And you go, wow.
Yeah, that was a bit fucked up, that one, too. Like, I remember that fight. I was like, it didn't make sense. It was almost like,
it was a weird punch.
I don't want to say staged.
It was a weird knockout.
It was weird, man. It was weird.
He was like,
but then he came back, Fedor,
and then Hendo threw that weird uppercut, and Fedor just dropped. And then the ref's like, it's
weird,
over,
man.
and you're like, is it?
No, but Fedor was still trying to grab the ankle there. Like,
Fedor was
still okay. Like, there was no reason to stop. So those 3 losses, like, okay, other than the Verdum one, which was a legit loss, like, the Antonio Silva one, to me, was like, get out of here. That's bullshit. Fedor could keep fighting with one arm, you know, and you could see that he doesn't argue. That's the one thing with Fedor, is that he knows that it was a bullshit call, but he never flinches, never shows any emotion. And he was like, okay, well, if you feel that I lost, I lost. And the Dan Henderson one was such bullshit. The only time I saw emotion, which was funny, is when he fought Mark Coleman. When he fought Mark Coleman, after the fight was over, I think it was that fight where Mark Coleman brought his kids into the ring, and he was trying to tell them, like, you know, don't cry and everything. And he was trying to, like, smile and everything. And I was like, man, I've never seen like, you know, Fedor want to smile, but it was just like a weird moment. But yeah, Fedor, I would agree with you, the greatest of all time. And I don't think anybody could dispute that, you know, not even Verdum can dispute that. Yeah. Was that the Coleman fight?
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. Look at Coleman, man. And you know what? I got to say one thing. Coleman actually follows Ringside Report quite a bit on on Insta, and you know, he's always giving us, like, you know, some comments. I love Mark Coleman, man. He's gone through so much, saved his parents, great father. The guy is always like, he's such a fighter, man. Like, Mark Coleman is a beast. But man, that fight with Fedor was insane. Look at the shape, man. Look at the shape.
Fyodor Emelianenko. Oh, the shape. Fedor, kettlebells. Hold on. Where's that? Oh, there we go. You want to see the shape? Peak Fedor. Peak Fedor.
That's scary, man. That was scary.
The Fedor kettlebell picture is, like, famous.
I think Fedor
no one is messing with this man right here.
No, man, that's insane.
Beast.
You remember Fedor when he was doing his training camp and he was, like, using the sledgehammer over the truck tire? Yeah. The minute that he did that, everybody did that. Like, everybody started doing that. Every like circuit training, like, you know, cross training, whatever kind of training, they're all following Fedor.
We all saw what Fedor did, and we're like, I'm gonna do what Fedor does because it clearly works. Clearly works. You can look like you have, like, a regular, just kind of normal body, little chub on you, and be a killer. So whatever he's doing, that's what we gotta do. The man.
But you know what? Then that's the shame of it all. Because if Fedor would have been like the king of the UFC light heavyweight or heavyweight division, everybody would know Fedor, just like everybody knows like Khabib and George.
The UFC
I don't want to say
would
anything.
play it up too,
Oh, to the fullest, bro. Because you couldn't get any better representative of MMA than Fedor. And he's such a nice guy, too. I know guys that have met Fedor. Actually, the twins. We know the twins, who are, one of them is in Russia. I believe he's still in Russia training jiu-jitsu. And Fedor came to see him. And he says the guy was awesome. That's the thing with Fedor. He's like the Russian George St. Pierre.
Everybody loves Fedor. And Fedor was doing the MMA fighter pose with Donald Trump way before it became popular. Like, he's a real innovator when it comes to being an MMA fighter hanging with Trump. And even Vladimir Putin. I mean, he's down with the program, Fedor.
Well,
Fedor,
listen, the reason why... Yeah.
Fedor was hanging with Putin and Trump way before... Look, Tim Sylvia, the maniac, is there with Trump.
Wow, Tim Sylvia. I remember him. Jesus.
Look at that. Look at that.
Blast from the past, man.
Josh Barnett and Donald Trump
days.
right there.
Josh Barnett. Josh was amazing. I think he's running a jiu-jitsu or a MMA gym in his hometown.
So, Fedor was doing it way before it became popular, hanging out with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin before they even were friends, or maybe not. I don't know. But, Fedor, now all the MMA fighters, they're all posing with Donald Trump because he's at all the fights. But this is way back in the days at Affliction when Donald Trump was, I think, one of the promoters or owners of Affliction.
Yeah, he was.
Like helping them in the promotion. He was involved.
In fact, he was very involved. And that's the thing with Donald Trump that most people don't know is that if it wasn't for Donald Trump to give a lot of his casino spaces to the UFC would have never been able to roll forward. And in fact, a lot of other places like Strikeforce and whatnot,
you see this?
The Trumpster actually helped a lot of the MMA scene.
Yikes. There's
who's that?
Don Jr. at an Affliction press conference.
Back in the days. Jesus, what year was that?
I don't know.
2004.
Fedor and Josh Barnett, the fight that didn't happen. 2008?
2008.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. Is that insane?
What a time. What a time to be alive.
What a time, man. Yep.
Donald Trump,
you know what?
promoting MMA. It happened. It did happen.
It happened, man. Yeah. And it was all real.
That's why when you see him at fights, I believe it. He's a fan. He's always been involved in fights.
And he knows his stuff. And the thing is like I said, most people don't know that the Trumpster is the reason why the UFC actually was able to break through in 2000. Nobody wanted to sanction UFC fights, but it's true, Dave. Let's be honest.
I don't want to give the guy too much credit because I like to give him zero credit. But it's true. I like to give him minus credit.
Boxing, he helped.
Yeah, he's not great.
Trump
he's not my favorite guy.
Did it for the UFC. That's why Dana White is so respectful towards him. It goes really deeper than just elections,
Yeah, I feel you. Patrick C. Hamilton says, I agree with you, Dave and AJ. Happy birthday, Angelo. Dropping the super chat. Thank you, Patrick. He says, this is a great discussion. He's been a member for 53 months. Thank you for the support,
bring
Patrick.
Angelo to a strip joint.
Out in Regina, Saskatchewan. We appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for
thank you very much.
Well wishes to Angelo as well. And I'm glad you enjoyed our discussion about John Jones and the heavyweight championship and the current state of affairs. I did say we're going to talk about BJ Penn. Oh, we should mention, though, we're talking about Fedor a little bit. There are rumors that he's going to box Mike Tyson, which I'm sure you're excited about. I think it's kind of all right, can we leave these guys alone?
I think that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. So talking about Fedor, like you said, so the rumors is that they want to put Mike Tyson up against Fedor. So it's a Russian organization. They were looking at the numbers of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson that hit over 100 million, subscribers on Netflix, which is insane. So you know what? Why not? I'd pay to see Tyson fighting Fedor in a boxing match. I mean, look. I think I would put my money on Fedor because those mule hits from Fedor are probably doing like Mike Tyson at this point. I never thought I would go against Mike Tyson, but after that Jake Paul fight, it didn't look so good, right?
Come on.
It didn't look so good.
I think I would go with Mike Tyson, though, if it is a boxing match, because Fedor is pretty over the hill as well, and he's not a boxer.
Have you? No, he's still training, bud.
Yeah, but so is Mike Tyson. That doesn't mean they're still fighting.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I know.
I mean, it'll be a tough one to say, but it'll be interesting to see.
Speaking of tough things to see, BJ Penn seems to be totally unraveling. I don't know what's going on. His mental state is clearly not where it needs to be. His mother had him arrested because he has been claiming and posting on social media and apparently doing some, not great things to her. He's been claiming that his mother is not his mother. It's some other lady who has killed his mother to take the place of his mother and take their fortune or something. It's, there's delusions going on. BJ Penn is not in his right mind. I don't know exactly what's happening with him. Maybe it's CTE, maybe it's drug abuse, maybe it's mental issues, maybe it's a combination of all three, but he's definitely not doing well. And it is sad to see BJ Penn doing so poorly and his family obviously struggling. His mom had to file a restraining order against him, which you can imagine how bad things have gotten if your own mother's filing a restraining order against you and having you arrested because she fears for her safety because you're barricading her in her room and doing all sorts of stuff where she has to call her other sons to help her escape. It's really
a tough
very
one, man.
bad situation that's happening with BJ
How old is
Penn
BJ right now?
So he was arrested this week, and
yeah. How old is he, Dave? He's what, 44? Where's he at? I mean, he's not that old. No. You know what I'm saying? But he's got he only had 3 knockout losses in his career.
He went through some wars, and he's been fighting his whole life.
Wars.
He's 46 years old.
46.
Here's a story from MMA Fighting. BJ Penn's mother, Lorraine Shin, filed a restraining order against her son after he was arrested twice in the past couple of days. This is a story from earlier this week, from 2 days ago. She filed a restraining order, and in the restraining order, there are allegations claiming extreme psychological abuse over the past several months, claiming that she is not Lorraine Shin, that his own mother killed his family and taken over the mother's identity, and then he wants her removed from his home. BJ Penn posted on his Instagram with an alert to the Hilo, Hawaii Police Department saying, "I need your help. My mother, Lorraine Shin, my brother, J.D. Penn, my brother, Regan Penn, and my brother, Kalani Mamazuka were all murdered, and I need you to investigate these guys, get these people out of my house and off my properties."
It's a shame,
so he
man.
thinks that his entire family was murdered and replaced with duplicates, doppelgangers, whatever, people that look like them, which is obviously, some kind of delusion. In the restraining order, BJ's mother alleges that she returned home from a trip earlier this month and found all her belongings, shoes, clothes, jewelry, and her bed even removed from her bedroom. BJ denied knowing where the things were. She then filed a theft report with the police. She says a few days later, her personal purse, her driver's license, credit card, and locks for her safe were stolen. She made another theft report. Then BJ allegedly told her that all the items in the safe were his. There were security cameras installed. BJ was caught taking them down and put glue in her deadbolts that stopped her from opening her bedroom door.
Yep.
Allegedly locking his mother in her bedroom door, in her bedroom. So eventually BJ was arrested and the restraining order was filed. Seems to be several altercations. One where she was trying to call the police. BJ was
fucked up. That's what you're trying to say. Many.
He was shining a flashlight allegedly,
pools.
And she had to call her other son to help and dial 911.
It's sad, man. It's very sad because, this is BJ Penn. A very, very skilled, dangerous fighter, that could possibly end your life without any weapons. And that's the problem. You know, you have like senior mom, and you have like the brothers and other family members and all that kind of stuff. Somebody has to do something. I mean, you can arrest him. You put like his bond was like $2,000, and then he got another one which was $1,000. I mean, the guy has money. There's no doubt about it. BJ Penn comes from a very wealthy family, but he also is a very wealthy individual from his career. The guy has been fighting since 2000. When did he? When did he start? 2011.
He's made some money. He's made some money.
He's made a lot of money. What I'm trying to say is that you need more than just to arrest him and let him go. I mean, this guy needs like some serious intervention. I mean, he needs a Dr. Phil literally to be there.
Yeah.
And they gotta find out what's going on. They gotta look at this guy to see with CT scans to see if there's any damage to the brain, which seems either he's on some heavy drugs, you know, he's having some like, you know, gray matter, you know, from like
I don't know
the post-fight life.
Yeah,
or it could be a combination of both.
Well, that's
Either
it, man.
or,
it's hard to tell exactly what's going on, but clearly BJ Penn is not. He's not doing well, and it's just sad. And hopefully he can get some sort of medical help to make him better. You know?
But Dave, listen, when you have to wait till someone dies, which could happen, and you know what?
I mean,
it would
he's
be a
been
shame
arrested.
for BJ Penn.
He's been arrested. There is a restraining order, and his mother is asking the state to kind of take over and give him kind of court mandated, you know, medical treatment, psychological treatment, which seems to be where he needs to go and where it needs to head. But, you know, who knows if that's actually going to happen. So
it's sad, man. It's sad to see BJ Penn, like, you know, like when we're talking about legends and whatnot, BJ Penn is a legend, man. You know, one of the greatest, you know, fighters in UFC history as well.
Yeah.
But this is not good.
That's
I'm 46 years old.
It's sad to see BJ, you know, in this kind of state and his family in turmoil. And then there's like another restraining order that was filed against him by his, I guess, former girlfriend, wife, and then his child. So he's like not allowed to see his own children. His mother is
he's
like
got into
scared
so much trouble
to be around him.
Remember, it's
just sad.
Remember, he tried to fight some bouncer and he got knocked out. Like, who's to say
Yeah, he
that
fought
wasn't
at a
cause
bar
of
a
it?
few years ago. There have been incidents with BJ over the past several years. You know, he's gonna be a dark side of the cage one day, and I don't like it.
I hope not. I hope like they can help him, because it'd be a shame, because, you know, it's hard to see someone who didn't like. Look, he wasn't like a heel in the sport. You know, he was actually a pretty clean-cut guy.
Yeah,
he was loved. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you want to see.
For a long time, people said BJ was the greatest fighter of all time.
That's right, and technically he was for a certain period of time. Yeah. He was, and that's the thing. Like, you know,
first double champ.
Even if the guy,
right,
first double champ, man. You know, he did so many things.
Right?
In
he was the first
BJJ
side in the UFC, or was it Randy Couture?
Listen,
did
BJ Penn
I think BJ beat him to it.
Super chat.
Well, yeah. And BJ Penn is the only guy in jiu-jitsu that received his black belt in a year. That is unheard of. It takes usually 10 years to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And this guy was so good that BJ Penn was that much of a natural athlete that they awarded him a black belt. He's the record book, man, holder of getting a black belt. I mean, that's how good BJ Penn was. He was a true martial artist, so something has to be done. Something is wrong with this guy, and I feel for him. And hopefully he's listening to our show. Bud, we love you and everything, but you need to get help.
Yeah, no, Randy Couture was the first double champion in the UFC. Sorry about that. I thought Randy was probably before. Randy was the heavaight champion, won the heavyweight championship in 2000, and then won the light heavyweight title, beating beating Tito Ortiz in 2003. BJ Penn won the welterweight championship back in 2000.
What, 11?
No. He won the welterweight championship against Matt Hughes in 2004. And then won the lightweight title from Joe Stevenson in 2008. It was vacant in 2008, and he won it. And then he defended against the former champion, Sean Shirk, who had it stripped. That's why it was vacant. Shirk tested
I was thinking 2011 I was thinking 2011, that was the beginning of the end of BJ Penn, because then he ended up on a 7-fight losing streak that went from 2011 to 2019. And that was like really the
2010.
decline of BJ Penn. Was it 2010? Okay,
Yeah,
I
the
thought it was
Frankie fights were in
2011.
2010. The 2 fights against Frankie Edgar.
And
Which
then,
BJ
it
was
was
so
all over
great
for
at the
BJ.
time and looked at as like the best lightweight ever, that when Frankie Edgar first beat him, people were like, that was just a weird one. It was in Abu Dhabi. It was too hot for BJ. It didn't count. BJ didn't take him serious. It wasn't real. And then Edgar was like, okay, cool. Let's do it again. And then like 3 months later, they fought again, and it was the exact same result. And then people were like, oh, okay. I guess BJ's not champion anymore. And then he, in 2011, he did start to lose. You're right, though. He bounced back from the Frankie Edgar fights by knocking out Matt Hughes, but then he had a draw with John Fitch that I think Fitch really won, and then he lost the rest of his fights.
Yeah, the 7-fight losing streak from then on, yeah.
Nick Diaz, Rory McDonald, Frankie Edgar again, Yair Rodriguez, Dennis Seaver, Ryan Hall, and then Clay Guida in his final fight in 2019.
Yeah, he lost to Ryan Hall as well, man. That was insane. That was insane. And you never know, man. It's not looking good. And I think Angelo says it best. I see a comment from Angelo, and he says, who knows where the story turns next? And that's the problem. Like you said, it could be the dark side of the octagon. And let's hope it's not. Let's hope we're like, things turn for the better, but they need to do it now because the guy is getting crazier every day. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this doesn't have a really bad ending. Hopefully he turns it around and it's better and things improve for BJ Penn. But yeah, some sad news for sure out of Hawaii from the BJ Penn world. Angelo dropping that super chat. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you to Angelo. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to all the members supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net. Patrick, you are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you for that.
I hope Angelo saw his birthday card on our show, man.
Yes.
I'm not sure, Angelo. Let us know if you saw the birthday card. We flashed it.
Did we just go off? No, we're still here. Thank you to everybody tuning in and checking us out tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North for some pro wrestling. Wrestling Uncensored will be back tomorrow night here on the Ringside Report Network. We'll be talking about all sorts of wrestling things. There it is, Angelo. Happy birthday,
there we
Angelo.
go, Angelo. Bravo.
I will leave you on that. We'll see you again real soon right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.